Welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. Let's go ahead and take a look at ZEBEC once again. This is going to be a very quick update on what we have been talking about. I mean, we're just building on top of that, saying that, look, this was the low here for ZEBEC, and I don't see the price visiting a price of like 0.0028 or something like that. I think we are done with that because this is an obvious bottoming structure. I mean, it looks very much similar to something like this right here, and you can also, it's also similar to right at the very lows of the ZEBEC price right there. So this bottoming structure time and again has appeared not only on ZEBEC but also on different other altcoins. Maybe I could go ahead and show you one that comes to mind very much quickly, which is something like XRP here, and you can clearly see the same structure being represented once again, and it looks like an inverse head and shoulder space, and right where you'd say probably this is your left shoulder, your right shoulder, right there, and this is your head. I mean, once you are breaking this massive neckline there with some kind of a back test, obviously, as it may appear right here, you are just off and away you are going, right? I mean, you can also see it happening right before that one. So this has been repetitive time and again. I could also give maybe an example of what was that which I was remembering. I think Gala Games almost had the same setup, right? So coming back to ZEBEC, we have a nice blueprint in which we have seen that once you are breaking the neckline here, which, you know, the price is exactly at right around 0.0045, I would say. So this has not been broken yet. We are still below that. Obviously the price, you know, can be rejected a little bit, but eventually I think that we're going to be breaking above this level here. We obviously have a big week ahead of us in crypto. I'm talking about the Fed meeting on Wednesday. This actually has led to a crazy amount of volatility in the past, and I think that this week is not going to be different. But eventually, I mean, as I said, I anticipate the ZEBEC price to break away from this level here. We will quote price targets, obviously, because this structure actually is not appearing out of nowhere. It's actually very much strategic right there. So this is, you know, the immediate short-term price section. Yes, between today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, we may see, you know, it a little bit shaky in here, but as I said, I expect it to, you know, push through, and we continue going ahead towards the upside, just as we saw with those other structures. So now let's go ahead and take a look at where we are in terms of like our long-term price, you know, predictions, because as I said, this structure was not appearing out of nowhere. This actually is a very good L12 count that we have talked about at length here, saying that, look, from the bottom here, you can say this is wave 1, this is wave 2, wave 3, this has been wave 4, and we have already begun the, you know, impulse wave that leads to wave 5, which already translates into saying that, look, we are anticipating a higher high than the one that we were having back towards the end of May. So what is that looking like? I would go ahead and show you once again, like what I did in the last video, from a Fibonacci extension perspective, from the very top right there until the very bottom. I'm expecting, you know, there's a big price to go ahead at least and reach this full Fibonacci scale right around 2.5 cents. I think, yeah, it's a decent price target. Obviously, maybe for somebody buying ZEBEC for the very first time, it not maybe as lucrative, but I think that even that still, you know, there are higher price targets, which obviously at this point I don't have any means of measuring them. That's why I'm sticking to, you know, slightly lower price targets than everybody else. But I see 2.5 cents being very much easy for ZEBEC, because look, this has been our week of accumulation pattern here, and we've broken out nice big test, and we're looking to look for some kind of expansions right there. So 2.5 cents is very much decent, but I've also seen some people maybe suggesting something like 5 cents. I was looking at it and saying, look, from my Fibonacci extension 2s here, I don't see it happening. But if we just try to adjust it a little bit here, you can also see that that could be another full, you know, extension scale, and that would directly solve the mystery of the 5 cents. So it's a price target that I have at the back of my mind, but not maybe a main price target at this moment. I think that just to be on the safe side, 2.5 cents is where this fifth leg is going to be taking us here for ZEBEC. So I'm very much still bullish here. Obviously, today we have somewhat of a red day, and I know bears are celebrating, saying that, you know, we were wrong. But what I think is happening is just that we have got that volatility that we usually see on Fed days, maybe not Fed days, but I should say Fed week, because it's going to be a massive week in crypto, right? The United States White House obviously is going to be talking about their crypto policy, potentially also explaining how they're going to be acquiring more crypto, more Bitcoin. So that could actually turn out to be very much bullish for the market. I think where we are in the rest of the market is looking very much obvious for everybody. So some people go ahead and they open, you know, crazy leverage positions. So there's -7% that you see here. Be rest assured, they are liquidating a lot of people. But I think in the context of where the bull market is, we're just beginning here, as you just also see here with ZEBEC. We are beginning the fifth wave, and it's looking quite safe. So nothing, is being taken for granted here. This week is going to be very much volatile. It's too important for crypto, right? If the Fed also on Wednesday comes out and say that they are going to be, cutting rates, the market will really, really be joyous and, just start pumping towards the upside. If they also indicate that probably by the time we get to September, they are leaning on the side of cutting rates also, the market is just going to be flying literally towards the upside. However, if Powell comes and says, what, you're not thinking about that, we'll just wait and see and stuff like that. Yeah, we may see a dip for a second, but I genuinely believe that at the point where we are, it's more like we are towards the very end of the cycle, and it's things like altcoins that are going to be outperforming, Bitcoin, and we're going to be getting a lot of gains from there. That's the reason why we are in crypto anyway. I mean, for the long time, yes, we tend to spend our time going down or maybe sideways, as you can see with this chart right there. So, I mean, for maybe 2-3 years, it was just going sideways. Then you see, this is like only 10% of the whole thing right there. So I think that time is coming, and it's coming very much soon here for ZEBEC and the rest of the crypto market, to be honest with you, to go ahead, just rip towards the upside. I think we're very much clear on where we are. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family. And then, of course, if you're new to the channel and if you want to be seeing more and more of the ZEBEC content, subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell, and then I will see you on the next one. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.